And just to juggle that many is in itself a full-time job. And it adds up to about 11 hours a year in lost time. Just trying to remember the password. Oh, did I have an exclamation point on this one? Oh, did this have a capital letter?
Always looking up a password.
Yeah, and so a lot of people don't realize that there is now, not only are passwords the #1 way that hackers get in, you know, they grab it from one place and they can really take control of what's happening, but using a password aggregator, using something that can, like 1Password or something like that, where you can actually take charge of having a different password and not having to remember all of your passwords.
Yeah, and my cell asks me all the time, do you want this password? And it puts out this, 20-digit number. It says it will remember it. But I always think, well, that would be great, but then what about when I'm on my computer trying to get in and I don't know what it is? So what do you do about that?
Right, yeah. Well, using a third-party service like that, it'll keep all those passwords memorized for you, and then you'll have a master password that you work with. You also see more and more stuff happening with like encryption, using like your fingerprint to log into things, especially with smartphone. It's nice too from a hacker perspective because some hacking software will trace your keystrokes, and so that's how they can find your passwords. So if you're using that alternative technology, you're going to be more secure.
Now, what about getting off of Facebook in the middle of all of this?
The million-dollar question. Yeah. The challenge with getting off of Facebook is that so many people have used their Facebook login to log into some different apps. Maybe, oh, I'm just going to log in for Spotify. I'm going to log in for Amazon, all these different things. And so the first thing you need to do is go into Facebook, go into the settings section, and see what apps are actually connected to your Facebook profile. Because you might
do it and not even realize you're doing it.
You could deactivate your Facebook, but then you're not going to be able to get into some of these other websites since that's how you logged in. So do that first. Then it's important to know that there's a distinction between deactivating Facebook and deleting Facebook. Deactivation is, okay, I'm going to take a little break. People aren't going to be able to get in touch with me. Deletion is what you actually want if you want to be done with Facebook for good. And it's good to know, maybe you just want a break, a little digital detox, but you don't actually want to fall out of touch with your friends. That's deactivation, not deletion.
Now, if you ever put your name in Google and just see what happens, it might be real interesting what you find. How do you go about removing your name from Google and making sure that people can't look up information about you?
Yeah, it's crazy, especially if you're looking for like a new job or something. 80% of recruiters will Google your name when they're looking at your job application. So a good thing to do, there are different websites that are just collecting your information, whether you know it or not. There's whitepages.org, there's other stuff like that going on. You want to go in and submit a request with Google. Hey, I'd like this information removed from this website. There could also be a situation where maybe your name is listed. Maybe you were on staff at a company, but you're not there anymore. You can submit a request to, hey, you need to update this information, and then you can ask Google. It's called fetching. When Google fetches a web page, you can submit a request for Google to refetch that page, and it'll update that page in Google search results.
It seems like the impossible dream that they would actually do something about it, but do they actually keep up with that?
Yeah, because it's important for Google to stay accurate. They don't want to have search results and then have you click and have it not be the correct information, right? So you can, at any time, for any website, you can submit a refetch and say, hey, Google, can you go over this website again and kind of update the summary? That way my name's not on it anymore.
How important do you think this conversation is that we're having for people to clean up and make sure that everything is pristine as it can be online?
Well, I think that as we have more and more stuff happening with identity theft and people just being able to collect your data online without you knowing about it, even just being aware of how much of your data is getting consumed from these big tech companies on a regular basis, it's good to have the first step be just being aware of that.
And it's hard to believe that just with all this information you just shared, we're just scratching the surface, aren't we? So you're sticking around 9 o'clock. We're going to break down 3 more big things you need to do.
Absolutely.
To clean up your name online. We'll see you in just a little while.